Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of SEPA Paranormal Chronicles. Tonight, I am delighted to have Kat Ward with me. Kat is a paranormal investigator with Canadian Supernatural Research Society, or CSRS. That's nearly as long as SEPA. We'll come on to that in a bit. She's a sensitive, and she's also the host of the Paranormal Heart Podcast, which broadcasts on the United Public Radio Network, or UPRN. Kat, welcome.
Hello, Lee. Thank you so much for having me.
Look at you sounding all sophisticated when you wasn't doing that online. So, thank you for being on. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. You and I have been talking for months because I had to go to the UK, so we had to cancel, and you cancelled recently for other reasons. But now
we're finally doing it.
Yeah, let's not tell anybody that this is the second part of tonight, because don't tell anybody.
It's our secret.
I won't know. So, Kat, what I always like to do, I always like to ask people to go back in time. This is where we get the time travel music.
Do I have a TARDIS with me too?
Yeah, why not? In fact, I can lend you one.
I have one. Yeah, I have one.
Oh, I just broke a bit of Lego off my TARDIS. Okay, so what was your very first paranormal experience, if you can remember that long back?
Oh, yeah. I'm not that old. Yeah, so I was born and raised on the east coast of Canada in a province called New Brunswick, in a little town called Dieppe. And I have no siblings, so it was my parents and I living in this 3-story apartment building. We lived on the top floor, and there was only one apartment per floor. It was a very, very creepy building. Before we moved in, when they first built the apartment, it used to have a coal furnace in the basement for heating. So I don't know how old that building would have been, but it was pretty darn old. So I had encounters with the Hat Man, but he was 4 feet tall. My father even says now that the night terrors I used to have in that apartment building, which is no longer there, they tore it down years ago. He would always say that I would wake up screaming about the man in my closet, the man in my closet. They'd come running, but he never paid attention to me. It was almost like he was trying to secure the perimeter type thing. I don't know. He was just looking around in the room. He never looked at me, but I was terrified. So I'd have the covers, just below my eyes. It's like, don't breathe, don't move, because maybe he won't see me. He was blacker than black, 4 feet tall, as opposed to the tall Hat Man that a lot of people have seen. But he had the bolero hat and the cloak, and you couldn't see his features. I couldn't see the face. It was all black. And he didn't appear every night, but it was often enough that I'm 58 years old now, and I still remember the guy. And I've never known who he was, where he was coming from, why was he there. There was one time my father, because at the time he didn't really believe, my father, in paranormal and all that, and I had a big walk-in closet, so he decided, okay, we're gonna try and get rid of this nonsense of you seeing this Hat Man. So he brought me in the closet and he says, "See, kiddo, there's nothing here at night that isn't here during the daytime." Well, me being the little smart kid that I was, and I looked at him and I said, "You mean he's here in the daytime too?" And he's just like, ugh. That kind of backfired on him. And I was afraid of my bedroom for the daytime and the nighttime for a very long time. Move several years forward, I was listening to a podcast called, it used to be called Paratruth Radio. Now it's called Paratruth Reborn. And I had never really spoken about this Hat Man to very many people. Just my parents knew, So I didn't know that this entity was seen by other people. So I'm listening to an episode, and it was the Hat Man. So I was intrigued. I was so like, you mean other people had been seeing this thing? But the guest that they were talking to, it was the tall version. So I sent them an email saying, "Hey, absolutely loved the episode, but I've seen the same thing, but he was only about 4 feet tall." So Justin Cancelleri, one of the hosts, sent me a reply saying, "Thank you very much. You need to watch this link." So there's this video on YouTube that he sent me. This guy, he's Canadian. He did a reenactment of the Hat Man that he saw. It was exactly the same thing that I saw as a child. How can that be? I mean, I was so flabbergasted, I guess. It's just like, oh my, somebody else. This is amazing. Didn't know it had a name, the Hat Man. So he has been haunting my memories, I guess, for lack of a better term, for many, many years. Just wondered what he is and who he is. And I have two very talented psychics that I trust. Like I've never seen such talented psychics. And I asked, they don't know each other. And I asked them, what do you think this entity was? And they both said that it was a guardian of mine. And I'm like, a guardian? I've never heard of that before, because normally the Hat Man is something that's not very friendly. And they said, no, it was guarding you from other things that were in that apartment building. And that apartment really did feel like, I don't know. I still have dreams of that apartment
Wow.
building and the Hat Man, because I've never stopped thinking about him, because I want to know more. Like, what was he? And sadly, the apartment building's been torn down, so I can't really go back and do an investigation. But that was my first paranormal experience.
You do realise that he's protecting you from what was in the closet.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I never thought of
that. Yeah, so it's all your dad's fault. So like, yes, there's nothing in the closet. No, it's a Hat Man. And it's really, I love the fact that people, I've spoken to a couple of people talking about the Hat Man. And I spoke to one guy and I went, I don't know if you know, but in the UK, and I think it's a sherry or a port that they sell, and it has the figure of the Hat Man with the hat. Yeah, and it's like, he went, wow. No, you're joking. So I Googled it, and and it literally is the Hat Man in his cloak with, obviously, his hat. And it's like a sherry or a port. I can't remember what it was. But so...
Spirits and spirits.
Exactly. That's what it is. Hey, I tell the jokes. I'm the host, not you. Okay. Yeah, stop it.
Yes, sir.
There's a stop button there.
Yes, sir.
Can't these cheeky Canadians. So, were you able to do any research into if there was anything before that property was built that would indicate towards it being of a paranormal nature?
No, I've sent emails out to the local library, like the Dieppe Library and the Moncton Library, trying to get information from newspapers or whatever, trying to find out because I still remember the address, and nobody can get back. Well, they get back to me and they say, sorry, we don't have any information. So next time I go home, I plan on trying to see if I can access some archives or something to find out what was there before.
And I get really envious about people like yourself, because my first paranormal experience happened 2000, and it must have been after 2004, so 2005, 2006. But I was a skeptic for the longest time, simply because I wanted to experience something, but something never happened. And I always remember, like, I was always fascinated with ghosts and spirits and stuff like that. And I remember reading a magazine, and I saw it on Facebook. It reminded me the other day, somebody posted it on one of these archive antique show Facebook pages, and it was called The Unexplained, and it was from England. And one of the articles was about spontaneous human combustion. And I thought this was going to happen like every day of my life.
I did an episode on that not too long ago.
Yeah. And so you must have seen the picture of the leg in there's a really iconic picture. I think it was an old guy that burnt, and all was left is from his knee to his foot. And I thought that kind of thing was going to happen like every day. It's like quicksand, isn't it? It's like quicksand's not going to happen every single day. Yeah. It's like stop, drop, and roll. You thought that would be so useful in your life, but it isn't.
Yep.
So after experiencing your first few or your instances in your childhood home, how did things progress as you grew older? Did you still experience different things, or did it have a quiet period before you became an adult, or how did that kind of phase out?
I've excuse me. I've always been like in your intro, a sensitive, and my so after we moved from the apartment building to the house that we bought, it was an older house. My parents renovated it, and I hate to say, but as a teenager, my friends and I used the Ouija board. Yeah, I know, I
Okay,
know.
I'm going, bye.
Stupid teenager. But we did close it properly.
You hope
Yeah.
you closed it properly.
Yeah. Actually asked questions about the house that I was still living in, and it said something about this little girl said something about I sorry, something about her father who was also her mother, and it's just like, what? Come to find out, so what my father and I did, we did some of the renos ourselves. So the attic, we actually dropped the roof, so we could just have like no attic. When we were ripping off the gyprock, we saw that there had been a fire upstairs, and it's like, oh, this is interesting. Did a little bit of research at the Moncton Library. Apparently, this father and this little girl lived in that house before, and she perished because she accidentally started a fire. And I thought, whoa, okay. I always felt something in that house too. Like even the cat would be sound asleep in the hall, curled up, and all of a sudden it would jump up and hiss. And when all the hair is all in the hall, and I would just say, okay, you need to go away now. And then the cat would settle down, and just little things like that throughout my life would happen.
Do you know what kind of period the fire was?
I don't recall right now. At the time, I did know, but I don't recall. And when I looked into seeing if the father was still alive, he was. And I so badly wanted to reach out to him, but what do you say? It's like, hey, I live in your house. I know about your little girl. How do you approach someone like that?
Yeah, it's like the people that are like mediums, and they go up to people. Oh, by the way, your auntie says hi. It's like, what? She only died last week, kind of thing. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
But I did speak to somebody at the beginning of last year, and they were medium. And the first thing that they knew about their husband's mother dying, she was teaching a class in school because she was a teacher. And the spirit appeared at the back of the room.
Oh, no.
So I'm like, I think I might need to go. So
Wow.
the fact that you had these experiences, at what kind of age did you realize that this was not of this earth, so to speak? The word paranormal. When did you kind of realize that this was a thing?
Probably as an early teen. My parents didn't make me feel like it was an odd thing, because some of my dreams would come true, and it was usually plane crashes. I'd get up in the middle of the night, tell my parents about I'd give them all the details. And then the next day, and this is before everything was 24/7 that you could get the news. At midnight, everything's dead silent. No radio, no TV. Yes, that happened. So I would tell my parents. And the next day, we're having dinner. We had the news on at 5 o'clock, and they talk about the airplane crash. And my parents and I would just look at each other. It's like, okay. My friends used to think that I was the weird girl that liked ghosts. I still am, but I don't care what anybody says. But I tried not to talk about it very much, just because it was a stigma back then. Just because sometimes I knew things, my friends and I would play with cards, and they'd say, okay, what's this card? And I'd tell them, it's like a dark jack. I can't tell which, I don't know which suit it's from. And then they'd be like, oh my God, just certain things like that. But it's not something that you went around back in the day telling everybody that, hey, I can do this. But
Yeah,
probably as an early because my mother, it was something that is actually in the family. My mother could actually communicate with her grandfather and not even be in the same building. It was like a mind speak type thing. So my mom, and she was very, very Roman Catholic, very, very religious. But to her, this was just, we didn't call it paranormal back then. I can't remember what we used to call it, but when I was in my early teens, I realized, okay, this is actually a thing. It's not just something in the
You're a
family.
witch.
Yeah,
You're a witch. That's what it
maybe.
is. And it's interesting that you come out with that, because if, as somebody who, I like to call myself a skeptic with an open mind, I would start asking you questions. Okay, where was the plane crash? What was the date? And at that time, I would have also got you to write everything down, and then you could kind of check mark it. Okay, she said that it crashed into a mountain, and try and study it. But you mentioned about the stigma. Back in the day, nobody spoke about it, whereas now, like, paranormal groups are coming out the yin yang.
Yeah.
They're all over the place, and like, we do Ottawa Comic Con, and you'll get people coming up to you and just, oh, let me tell you about the time when, and it's becoming more open that people can talk about it now, which is good.
It is, yeah.
Because you're getting more and more like really cool experiences that people can't. Like, you're not just going to come out with this and just say it randomly. But even when people find out that you're a paranormal investigator, like, I'd got a manager at work today going, our place is still as haunted in the winter as what they are in the summer. I'm like, what? Like, I'm trying to eat my sandwich. Leave me alone. And it's like, but yeah, it was a genuine question, because do people do as much paranormal investigate in the winter as what we do in the summer? And then we started having a conversation about there's just as much hauntings in the daytime as what there is in the nighttime.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, but the people in my office, I don't get ridiculed. It's kind of like one of my colleagues. Oh, you're doing that episode tonight, aren't you? Talking to the I went, yeah, I am. Oh, I hope it goes well, and they just
Nice.
accept it. And it's like knitting. Yeah. Oh, I'm knitting a scarf. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, but they just accept it nowadays, and it's much more of an open opportunity to talk to people.
Yes.
And you get some really, really cool, interesting stories, and it's fantastic. I love it.
I'm so happy that people are opening up more, because you get more data, I guess, for lack of a better term, hearing about other people's experiences, especially if there's similar experience and where you might have not even been born in the same country, and you're like, oh, you had that experience too over in England, for example. It's just really amazing.
Yeah, because you mentioned about the Hat Man. I spoke to a guy that was talking about offline, and he experienced that man in Germany.
Oh, wow. Tall one or short one? Or did he say?
The short one.
Really?
Sorry, no, the tall one. Sorry.
Oh, the tall one, okay.
I had a 50-50 chance, and I got it completely wrong. but yeah, and like, I was speaking to an author last year, and she went, oh, I must send you the details for this person. And as soon as we finished the interview, I had to get her to stop after she sent me 15 names.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you must reach out to this person. And Tommy, hi, Tommy.
Yeah, hi, Tommy.
Tommy was one of them. Oh, you must reach out to these people. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's such a close-knit community now where you can ask people questions, and most people that are in the same kind of group that we're in, they will hop on each other's podcasts, like,
yeah.
And it's like, oh, I've interviewed them. Oh, yeah, so have I, and I've done, and so have I. So, moving forward through your life in Dieppe, which is in France, by the way, it's not in Canada.
Yes, I know.
How did you kind of like develop into more of a sensitive, and how did you decide that you wanted to make a hobby? So, because people don't do careers out of paranormal investigation, unfortunately. So, How did that kind of develop?
I've always had an interest in weird things like that, like cryptids like Bigfoot, because back in the day, it was only Bigfoot that we knew of, really, and ghosts. And I remember reading a book early on about Ed and Lorraine Warren that nobody even knew who they were back then. And I was fascinated. I'm just like, oh my God, I love this. Wish I could meet the people. And sadly, I never did. But just my parents and I would go to a place in Nova Scotia called Fort Louisbourg. It's an old 1800 fort. I think it's a French fort.
Right.
And there was this one time that one of the buildings that we went into, it was the main building. It was towards the end of the day, so my parents and I had a tour guide with us. And the building was under construction, so we couldn't go into a lot of places. So we're standing there, and she's telling us about the building, and I'm looking down the hall, and I'm really intrigued, and I'm just like, what is that? It sounded like a foot. Oh, good grief, booted feet, booted feet on the floor. Oh. So the tour guide saw me looking down the hall. She goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I hear footsteps down the hall." And she goes, as a joke, saying, "Oh, it's probably our ghost." Well, it wasn't a ghost. She probably thought it was going to deter me from going to investigate. I'm 7 or 8 or something like that. And she says, "Oh, it's probably our ghost." I'm like, "Ghost?" And I'm at that age, I'm already intrigued. I want to go check it out. So her and my parents are like, "No, no, no, don't. It's dangerous." And she says, "There's all the workers are done for the day. There's nobody in the building other than the four of us." And it's just little things like that that just really, really intrigued me. So when my husband and I and our kids moved to Ontario, he's ex-military now, and this is where we were posted. A friend of mine messaged me one day on Facebook and said, "There's this lady on Facebook, and I know you're right into ghosts. She's looking to start a paranormal team." And I'm like, "Okay." She said she's looking to start a team, and she wants people to join. So her name's Katie Turner. I don't know if you've heard of her. She's the lead investigator of the team that I'm with, and very gifted psychic. I've like it's crazy how gifted she is. And it's like, okay, so my husband and I used to always watch Most Haunted, every Friday night and all that. And I said, "Yeah, this lady, we're going to be meeting at the local Tim Hortons here, and have a cup of coffee, see who wants to join the team, see what's she has to say." And he's like, "Well, what if they're a bunch of wingnuts?" I'm like, "Well, then I'll say thank you for the coffee. Nice meeting you. I'll leave." And I still jokingly say they were a bunch of wingnuts, but I liked them and I joined the team. And we did investigations for a while, and I haven't done any with them in a long time because my schedule just doesn't coincide with theirs. But no, we started doing investigations, and I was intrigued. I knew it wasn't going to be like the television shows, but I knew
Yeah.
it was going to be similar. But I really didn't know what to expect. But no, it's great team, great people. And then I did an interview. A friend over in Newfoundland I don't know if he still has a show. I don't think so. It was called Odd to Newfoundland. We had a mutual friend and he wanted me to be on the show. And then I had some family and friends reach out after they listened to it and said, "You should start your own podcast." And I'm like, hell no, no. So when I mentioned that to my husband, he says, "Why don't you do that?" I'm like, "Because that's something that other people do." So I thought about it. It took me a good year so I could get software, equipment, stuff like that. And then I started it, and that was 8 years ago. And the paranormal's always intrigued me.
And that's it. You kind of go from strength to strength, because I know that we started Super first, and then we actually got invited onto a podcast. And I'm a bit of a stickler for detail, and I always like things to be done the right way. And I'm thinking, I could do this better. I could do, and then it kind of got the seed, and then I'm the same. It took me a good 4 or 5 months to I was Googling every night, how to start a podcast and
Mm-hmm.
all this kind of stuff. And then I did my first few episodes with just a couple of us talking. I had my first guest who was a friend of mine. He's the guy that I teach for, PPRI, that are in Halifax. And then I started reaching out to people.
Mm-hmm.
And I started off, and it was like I used to do 2 a month, and
I
then
started off with 1 a month.
yeah, and then I was getting so many, I had to do like 1 a week, because it was like, this is getting crazy, and like I didn't expect half the people to say yes. But
Right?
everyone was saying yes, and it's like, oh wow, shit, oh god, oh, what we're gonna do, and then it got that bad in July that I had to do 2 a week just to catch up. Okay,
Wow.
extravaganza for July. I mean, haunted in July, or paranormal in July, I think I called it. Where I actually did 2 a week just so that I could catch
Wow.
up with all the episodes.
Yeah.
It was getting, and it's like even now I've got enough to last me until, if I don't get any more people saying yes right now, end of February.
Nice.
So it's crazy. So going back to you, because this is about you, not about me. Can you remember the very first investigation that you went on?
Oh, yes, I can.
Spill the beans, girl.
It was so one of the team members knew this gentleman. He was 94 at the time, and the house that he was a widower, living by himself, and he said that he was having paranormal activity in his house. So we got the team together, and he had his little walker. So we made him an honorary member of the team because we would put like an EMF detector on his walker, and he'd follow us. It was amazing. But so Katie and I are in the main bedroom, and one of the spare bedrooms was next to it, so the rest of the team was in that one. And then Katie and I say, if you're here, give us some knocks. We heard a knock, and we're just like, oh my god, I was giddy. And then I thought, oh, it's probably the crew, the rest of the team in the other room. So then we said, could you please give us more knocks? We got more knocks, but it was at the other end of the bedroom compared to where the other bedroom was. So it's just like, oh. So then we asked again, could you give us 3 or 4 knocks? I can't remember the number, and we got the number of knocks we wanted. We were giddy like kids in a candy shop. I was so excited, and then I kept having this picture in my head of this lady that used to have kind of like a strawberry blonde hair color. So I asked one of the girl who knows him. I said, "Do you know if he you knew the family? Who is this?" She says, "Come with me." So we go into the living room. She shows me a picture of this gentleman's late wife when she, back in the when she
Wow.
had, and I'm just like, "Yeah, that's her that I'm picturing." So it was just amazing. Then we go to the basement. We're getting EMF detect. We had the EMF detector on the floor, and it's lighting up when we're asking questions. And I'm just like, okay, well, why? Like, I got to know why. What's underneath the concrete that might give us the EMF detector lighting up? So that's like, let's move it to see. We found out that it was plumbing or something. I can't quite remember, but it wasn't ghosts. We were disappointed, but I had to look further, even though it was my first not experience investigation. I kind of was thinking already that way. Well, okay, we have lights, but why? So yeah, that
And
was an amazing.
and straight away, like you say, you've done exactly the same as what we do. Okay, it's going off. Why is it going off?
Yeah,
Is there a rational explanation for why it's going off? So you move it to a different location and then try to get the same results.
yeah, and it just, yeah. I don't remember what happened then after we moved it, but we did come to the conclusion that there was something underneath that particular location
Yeah.
that probably was setting it off. And my dad used to be a radio tech with CNR, Canadian National Railway, and he's also he would fix radios. Like, that was his hobby since he was a boy. And one day he says, "Here, kiddo, I'm going to give you this. It's a wire finder." So because we know that if you go into somebody's house, if you're getting like spikes in one location, well, we don't know what's under that floor or what's behind that wall, and the client doesn't really take well to us wanting to put holes in their walls or floors, right?
No, they frown upon it.
Yeah, they
Mostly.
kind of do. So anybody who's just starting out and investigating, don't do that.
Yeah, I'll just take my hammer out of my kit.
You distract them all. Yeah. And I found that a lot of times the wire finder actually found stuff. So we were able to debunk certain things.
Yeah. So I'm now going to call you a fibber
Why?
because at the beginning of this episode,
Yeah.
you said that you was a sensitive, but sensitives do not pick up pictures of individuals with red hair. So not only are you insensitive, you've probably got other abilities that you're not happy to talk about because you probably you haven't convinced yourself yet. So spill the beans, girl.
I call myself a sensitive because I just can't call myself a medium or anything like that because it's not something that I've worked on. It doesn't happen all the time. I just let it happen. So I just call myself a sensitive. But yeah, you're probably right.
Go on, no, say that again.
You are
I,
right, sir.
there we go. There we go. There we go.
Are you
I
happy?
hope everybody. I am. I'm very happy now.
Good.
So yes, I'm right.
Proud as a peacock.
Yes. Ta-da! But it's interesting that I mentioned that because as soon as you said that, it's like, oh, just wait a minute. Just hang on a minute. Just hang on.
I probably downgrade my abilities. I don't know why I do that.
Because you're not confident in them. You haven't done enough practicing or whatever you want to call it to be good at what you do. But you've just proved to me that you can do it.
Yeah, I know I can, but again, it's just, and I always second guess myself.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was a paramedic for 13 odd years, and you always second guess yourself. Could I have done better?
Yeah.
Did this person die because of something? So it's natural for people to
Gotcha.
double guess themselves.
Yeah.
So unless you want me to waggle the finger at you, you need to
now.
look into. Yes. Oh, yeah. You need to look into this further because, like I say, for you to say, "Oh yeah, someone's got like strawberry blonde hair," did you call it, or redhead, or whatever you called it?
Strawberry blonde.
Yeah. There we go. Strawberry. Yeah, that's not a sensitive. So
fair.
I've just called you a liar on my
You
podcast.
called me out.
And you accepted it.
Yes, I did.
So going back to CSRS, you just mentioned your first investigation. Do any really stand out that you'll never, ever forget for either the good or the bad reasons?
There's one in particular. We're investigating a local business. It was a tattoo place. I don't think it's there anymore. And we were just setting up the equipment. We weren't even doing the investigation yet. And it was my job to set up the video cameras. So I was running the cords and all that because, it's not wireless. So, and all of a sudden, Katie walks up to me and I felt like something was trying to take me over. Katie looks at me. She goes, "Are you okay?" And I shook my head no. And she says, "Something tried to go through you." And I shook my head yes. She says, "You need," because I like to keep crystals on me. I believe in selenite and hematite. Those are the two crystals that I really feel a connection to. Hematite for grounding, selenite just helps repel negative entities and energies. So I like to have those on me. I didn't have them on me yet. So Katie says, "You need to go get your crystals and you need to go get them now." She sounded like she was way down the hall. Like it was just like she wasn't right in front of me. I dropped the cables at her feet. I went to my little case. I usually keep one crystal of each. I grabbed 3 selenite, 3 hematite, and I shoved those in my pockets. And I was just like, I'm using all of my abilities to keep whatever the heck that was out. And I had to tell it, whatever you are, if you want to communicate, you do not communicate trying to take my body over or whatever. We have equipment for it. This is what it is, but you're not allowed to touch me or anybody else here. But that was it never happened before or since. So they started off investigating in the basement, and I'm like, I just have to collect myself here. I'm just going to watch the monitors while you guys are downstairs. And yeah, it's just crazy. I was actually angry. I was like, how dare you? So I don't know if my anger or just like, oh, geez, okay, we're going to leave her alone or what it was. But I started to pray. I started calling out to my mom, who's on the other side. Sadly, she passed away several years ago. And I'm like, you guys need to, I need protection. Just help me out here. Give me the strength to be able to keep whatever this was at bay. And then once I calmed down and was able to push everything out, because I always picture white light from within pushing out to get rid of negative energies. And once I knew that I was fine, then I was able to join in on the investigation. But after we were done, we all got in the car, and Katie says, "Where did you go?" And I'm like, "I have no idea. Something tried to take me over, and you sounded so distant. Like you just sounded so far away." And that she saw it. She saw the entity.
Do you realize what you've just done?
What? Did I fib again?
Yeah, you basically said, you basically told me exactly what you think you're not.
Okay.
You've just done it again.
Fair.
But you probably don't realise that you're doing it, but it's sort of like, oh, this happened, but you're not putting two and two together.
Yeah.
Me and you are going to have a good conversation, okay?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, go and stand in the corner until I'm ready. So it's interesting that you say that, because whenever I speak to anybody that's got any psychic abilities, no matter what they are, I always tell them that I want to see what you see, I want to hear what you hear, I want to feel what you feel. And I was talking to a girl in the fall, and she went, "You see spirits?" And I went, "No, I don't." And she went, "Don't bullshit me." I went, "What?" And I went, she goes, "You do, you just don't acknowledge the fact." And she went, "Because you spent all that time in the emergency services, you've got your rational head on.
Oh, yeah.
And you just need to start opening up." And then she called me a sensitive, and I went, "No, I don't think I am." She went, "No, you are. Trust me, you are."
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Wow. So we've both been called out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But I called you out, but I'd got justifiable reason. And then you actually gave me more information that made that concrete. So, Lee won, Cat nil. Oh, wow. Oh, it's getting like that now, is it?
Oh, yeah. Gloves are off.
So, you spent many years with CSRS. How did Paranormal Heart Podcast come about?
From when I was on that, when I did an interview with my friend John Mallard from Ottawa, Newfoundland, and I did another interview after. Well, it took me the longest time to accept his invitation because I'd never done anything like that before. I was terrified. I was like shaking in my skivvies. I was just like, no. So then finally, after a few weeks, he's like, "Okay, are we doing this?" I'm like, "Okay, let's do it." He goes, "It's just audio. It's like two friends in the living room having a conversation. It'll be fine. It's pre-recorded." I'm like, "Okay, let's give it a shot." And I did another friends show shortly after that, and family and friends said I should start my own show. And like I said, I'm like, hell no, because that's something other people do. And then I asked John, I'm like, "Well, do you think I should do this?" And he says, "Okay, is it a topic that you enjoy?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Do you like talking to people?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Is it going to hurt anybody?" I'm like, "God, I hope not." So he says, "Why wouldn't you do it?" So it's like, okay. And then another friend of mine who had a podcast, Jim Mallard, he said, after about 5 episodes, you'll know if you're going to keep going or not. And 8 years later. And it took me a good year, like I mentioned earlier, because I wanted to make sure the audio was right. So a friend of mine, Brian Anderson, he's brilliant. He does audiobooks, things like that. And he helped me with all the equipment that I had to get. I used to use Audacity in the beginning for recording and everything, and he would edit everything for me. I just send in the record because I didn't know how to do any of this. But it took me, like I said, a year because I hate listening to a show where the audio is horrible. So I wanted to make sure that my audio was okay. Not perfect, but I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to be horrible. So finally, Brian's like, "Okay, are we doing this?" It's been a year. I'm like, okay. So I got a guest, and well, I've been running with it ever since.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because there are a couple of episodes that I've had to not publish simply because either somebody's like far too close to the mic and it sounds and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah,
You've literally got to have to re-record. But it's interesting what you say about like building up the courage, because I think it was episode 5 of mine. I'd got the 3 girls from BC from History Most Haunted as my guests.
No
Episode
way.
5.
That's
And
amazing.
I'm like, oh crap. Yeah, and it was like, oh well, I will apologize now. I'm going to be like fanboying.
Yeah.
And they went, but yeah, and I went, yeah, but I watch you on TV. But yeah, I deal with people at Comic Cons all the time, and I don't fanboy. But it's like, I love these girls. I love the dynamic that all 3 of them have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm talking to them, and it's like it was bizarre. It really was bizarre.
I was
And
like that. I was like that when I had. Do you know who Ron Moorhead is?
I do not.
Have you ever heard of the Sierra sounds? The Bigfoot Sierra sounds? Because he's a Bigfoot guy. Back in the 70s, I think it was, he got like the whoops, like and what they call the samurai chatter. Yeah, that's Ron Moorhead. I had him on my show because Michelle knew him, and I'm like, I've been wanting to ask him for a long time to be on, but I was so scared, you know. So she says, no, here's his email address. Tell him I sent you. I'm like, okay, sweetest man. And I was kind of fangirling. I was just like, oh my God, Ron freaking Moorhead is on my show. And I had him on twice. It's just like, oh my God.
That's great. But and I know I emailed Kieran O'Keefe, and he's a UK parapsychologist for people that don't know, on Most Haunted, and he's been on Uncanny, and I emailed him in January, I think it was, before I'd even started the podcast. So I thought, I'm going to start at the top. It's like, start at the top and see what happens. And he didn't respond, so okay, yeah, he's a busy guy, whatever. And then it wasn't until mid-June, July, the wife and I had just been out to go and grab McDonald's. We're just coming in, ping. Like, I just got an email from Kieran O'Keefe. Apologise, it like a million apologies for just getting to your email. So you just never know how long it's going to take for somebody to get in touch with you. Because this was 6 months, and he did go, well, you're lucky because it normally takes people a year.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and it's funny how, like, you and I talking like we've known each other forever, but there's some people that really get the butterflies going. Like, I interviewed Barry Guy from Help My House is Haunted from the UK.
Okay.
And it's like, my God, it's Barry Guy, but I'm sorry, but yeah, these people, they're human at the end of the day. And we was having a great old giggle, and and you just have a great conversation with them. So I've asked you about your first investigation and your outstanding investigation that you've done. What about your podcast? Have you had many oh my God or wow moments that immediately spring to mind?
How so?
As in, like I was talking to one guy, for example, that his girlfriend at the time wore a pendant that they found, and as soon as she put it on, she went into the crab position and then walked up a wall backwards.
Oh, damn.
Those kind of moments.
Okay.
So, like jaw-dropping moments. Have you ever had any podcasts?
I have. I can't recall it, but I know I've had some. But the one other than, I have to tell you this first. So Ron Moorhead was supposed to be on my show again. We got the time zones mixed up, and we're going live, and he's not showing up. It's just like, that's not like him. So I reached out to Michelle. I said, Michelle, can you sit in? Like, do you have the time? Because Ron, I'm supposed to go live in 10 minutes. She goes, yep, give me. So we spoke about Ron and then his research and all that. So then he emails me later, says, okay, I'm ready. And I'm like, Ron, you missed it. He goes, what? I'm like, it was 6 p.m. Eastern. He goes, oh, I am so sorry. And he's like, please give me another chance. I'll do better next time. And I'm just like, you're Ron freaking Moorhead. You don't have to apologize. And I'm just like, it's like, absolutely you can be on. But yeah, I was just like, yeah, fangirling with this guy. It's like, he's such a sweet man. But no, there was there's one episode in particular. He used to have a podcast called the Safety Doc Podcast. He Dr. David Perodin. He's not a medical doctor. His field is teaching businesses and people situational awareness. He tries to help them be more secure in schools and things like that. Well, he told me that when he finished university and he had to go bring his thesis back to the building, I can't remember where it is in the States, but it's a very, very old university. And he said he walks in and they're doing renovations, but the sounds sound like old-timey, what do you call that? Des outils. Oh, I'm in French. Tools, sorry. The French kind of overrode there for a second. It sounded like old tools, not common tools. And normally you have like yellow caution tape. There was none of that. And it was kind of dusty, kind of like a hazy thing. And all of a sudden this gentleman shows up. He looked like he compared to him as dressed up as an old train conductor, and the way he carried himself, and he was very jovial, and the way he spoke was not like today. And he says, "Oh, I'm here to help you." He says, "Oh, I have to go to this particular location." He says, "Okay, get in the elevator." Speaking a little bit, elevator opens, and David says, "Thank you very much." And he goes, "I guess my job here is done," or I can't remember the exact words. So he goes left, and he turns around to thank the guy, and he's gone. And now David knows, because of the situational awareness, he knows where everything is, where all the exits are and everything. He's just switched on like that. So he goes, when he first arrived, it was daylight, parking lot full of cars. He goes to bring his paper. Thank you very much. He leaves. He can't find the exit. He can't find the elevator. He was so disoriented. And by the time he finally found his way out, it was nighttime, and there was his car, and I believe there was one other car. And he's like, "Kat, what was that?" And I'm like, "I think there was some kind of a dimensional being trying to help you not stay in that location for the rest of eternity. He was trying to guide you so you wouldn't get stuck in time or whatever." It was just amazing. And it just, the more he was explaining it, the more I was just like, holy crap, this is amazing.
Yeah. And I think that would get called a time slip.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Getting old.
Because I'm not saying a word. And it's like, I'm so looking for somebody who can talk about those, because like time slips fascinate me. I'm a big historian as well.
Oh, okay.
So to actually go back in time and to see something, and this place that I mentioned in your podcast earlier in the US, it's got a big wooden like spiral staircase, and at the bottom of it is a black door, and the black door has been sealed, because if you go a little bit further, you turn left, and it's part of the wall of the dining room.
Okay.
So the black door was sealed, and the owner was telling us that this was only about a year ago. A couple came downstairs to look for the owner, came down to the bottom of the stairs. The door was open, and there was a black tie party going on. So they kind of went, "Oh, the owner's probably at the party. We'll come back later." So they went back upstairs to the room, came down a couple of hours later, and the door was closed. They walked around the corner, bumped into the owner. Like, "How was the party?" What party? "Well, the party through the black door." There wasn't a party. That door's been sealed for like 50 years.
Wow.
And they basically witnessed a time slip.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's like, it absolutely fascinates me, and I'd love to experience something like that for myself.
Yeah.
But you mentioned about things that were kind of like, like wow moments. I was talking to a guy about UFOs and things, and he was trying to remember a date. And he went, yeah, I can't quite remember. It must have been the time that I was abducted. And I went like, "What?"
Yeah. Say again.
And I'm like, "Yeah, you can't just drop like, oh, that was the time I've been," into a normal conversation.
You need to prepare me for that.
Yeah, exactly. So I've literally got him coming back in like this year.
Nice.
to talk, because afterwards I said to him, "I don't want to be personal, but are you comfortable talking about it?" And he went, "Yeah, I'll talk to you about it. So would you mind coming back?" "Absolutely, no problem."
Nice.
But yeah, it's those kind of wow moments. And I always tell people that if you can stop me mid-sentence by something that you're saying, and I basically just go, "Oh," it's sort of like, then you're the kind of guest that I want. Because some of the interviews you can struggle talking to somebody, and some of them flow so easily, and then somebody just comes out with a bombshell. You just go, "What?" And it just blows your mind. It's absolutely amazing. So, can you think of any more like mind blowing moments, either in your investigations or in your podcast?
Well, I actually had, I think it was a time slip moment myself. So I'm driving in the little town that I'm from. I'm driving up the road and it leads me to the highway. And I want to turn left at the intersection because Ontario has traffic lights on the highways, because why not? New Brunswick doesn't have that. But
Modern
anyway,
technology.
so I'm approaching the intersection, and for a few seconds, it seemed like forever, but it was just for a few seconds. All of a sudden, the highway wasn't there. The trees were overgrown, like there were trees. There was only the road that I'm on, and there's no cars. It's kind of like horse and buggy. And I'm sitting there in the car going, just thinking to myself, what? And then as soon as I thought that, I'm back to where I'm supposed to be. I'm just like, what the hell just happened? Like,
And
it was,
it's interesting you mentioned that because for people that don't know, I was a guest on Kat's podcast before this one, so she's now repaying the favour. But we were talking about. I've lost my train of thought now.
train derailed.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, like we're talking about the science side of it, and for these scientists that say that ghosts are not real, or this is not real and that's not real, how are you going to explain the example that I just said and the example that you just said?
Yep.
Because if are you daydreaming? But if you are, it's a very precise and detailed daydream. In my example, there was part of a wall that was open, and why would these people initially see a black tie party? Yeah, you said that it was similar to horse and buggy, but why would it be that descript? There's got to be something that's making this happen. But trying to put your finger on it and saying, well, it's this, which you can't do because every experience is different for every single person. So I could have been in that same position with you, and I could have seen something in the 1940s where you saw it before it was tarmacked and concrete roads. So what makes it different for every person? In different locations. So I'd like you to answer that for me right now. Please go.
I have no idea. I just know it's a cool thing, and I'm glad I didn't get stuck in that time, because I would have
100%.
had to write a letter, seal it, address it to my husband at this particular date and address, and only saying, I didn't leave you, I'm just stuck in time.
And I say it's that kind of stuff that you can't explain that makes what we do and who we talk to that so much more fascinating. Because unless you've got a really vivid imagination, you still would not be able to come up with some of the scenarios that happen that people say that they've been in time slips. So what is it? What is actually happening at that? If it is a scientific problem or scientific issue, then what is it that's happening? And until we can put our finger on that, which I don't think we ever will, like people can just enjoy seeing clips of times gone by.
Yeah, like, are we physically there, or is it like our consciousness there? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. And I know that I've been driving to places and you kind of have that moment where you arrive at where you're going, but you can't remember how you got there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're obviously concentrating enough for you not to fall off the road. And you've braked when cars have braked in front of you, or you've stopped at traffic lights, but you cannot remember how you got from point A to point B.
Yep. Yeah. It's like, how did I not have an accident getting here? Because I don't remember getting here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I can remember doing that when I was in the military, like driving home one day and going like, how did I get here?
Yeah. I didn't know you were in the military. Nice.
Was that a paranormal experience, or was it just my mind went went away and I was daydreaming, but my subconscious was conscious enough to still drive home because you've got turn-ins and you've got junctions and
muscle memory and
stuff.
all that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'd like an answer within the next 5 minutes, please, of what you think that is.
No pressure.
Okay, yeah. So we are coming towards the end, unfortunately, but I've heard a little rumor, because you told me, that you're currently working on a book series.
Oh, I'm not writing it. I'm narrating it.
Okay, narrating it.
Yes.
So just because it's written down in English and I can't speak proper, leave me alone. Narrating a book series.
Yes.
Spill the beans. What's that about?
Well, a friend of mine, JB Coates, she's a paranormal investigator in the States, and we've known each other online for a few years. And one day I asked Brian Anderson, because he narrates books, said, I want to do this. How do I do this? So he told me this particular website to go to, create a profile, and then you can do auditions, send it in, and you have a certain amount of time for other people to also send in their auditions, and you can actually listen to everybody else's, that whatever they sent in. So I posted on Facebook. I did a thing today, I want to get into narration. So JB messages me and says, Kat, I have a book series. I'm just like, excuse me? I didn't even know she was an author. We never discussed that. We just yeah, and it's a paranormal author. So she
Great
says,
friend she is, obviously.
What's that?
So you're great friends, obviously.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So she says, you are the voice I've been looking for to narrate my book. I'm just like, okay. So, yeah, I did her first book. It's the Obsidian Guardian novel written by J.B. Coates, Coates. And sadly, I've taken too long to do book 2. It's just I moved my studio down to the basement. There's just life got in the way, but I'm still working on it. There are 4 books in the series right now. She plans on having 6, I believe. But yeah, it's these gargoyles that will change when they're in gargoyle form. They will be like obsidian, like dark obsidian, but there's little flecks of light. And during the daytime, during the nighttime, then they're human, but they are watching gifted people, so like family members. There's these. If one family gets wiped out, then because that particular family would be maybe like tidal waves and that sort of thing. If they get completely wiped out, then you're going to have global tidal waves, lots of destruction. And each family has particular abilities, and the guardians have to protect these family members. I really when I first read her book, she said, "Did you like it?" I'm like, "No." She goes, "Oh," I said, "I loved it."
Sneaky.
That's not telling me you were an author before. But yeah, I'm still working on book 2, but it is a lot of fun. The first book, blood, sweat, and tears. There's a lot of times I wanted to quit because I didn't know what I was doing. I was talking to Brian a couple times daily sometimes, going, I don't understand. He would send me video tutorials, and finally I kind of know what I'm doing. So yeah, it is fun, but the first book was so stressful. Oh my God.
But you said that the similar sort of thing about your podcast, that you to figure out what you were doing.
Yeah.
So apart from all the stuff that we've mentioned, what's next on the agenda for Kat Ward? I know there's something that we can't talk about that we've been talking about.
Exactly. I have to finish book 2. That's still in the works. But yeah, there's a project that you and I and a friend of mine here are working on to see if we can make it come to fruition. We won't mention what it is yet because it's still in the early stages of discussion. So, but trust me, it's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah. So we're building a TARDIS is basically what you're telling people.
Yeah, that would be cool. Are you the companion or am I?
I'm the English one. Remember that.
Oh, that's true. Okay, fine. I'll give you that.
Hey, plus I've got all my Doctor Who stuff here. So
yes, I know. I'm envious.
Yeah. Kat, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Pleasure's mine. Thank
you.
I
thoroughly enjoyed asking you questions.
You did say you were going to interrogate me.
Yeah, obviously we are going to stay in touch because we've got that secret project that we can't talk about. But no doubt we'll speak to each other again very soon.
Yes.
But for now, thank you for your time, for your podcast and for my podcast. And you have a great rest of the evening.
You as well. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.